I like this topic quite a bit, and I like this band as well. This is influenced by Radiohead, and this is a named tweet. It's called OK Computer. OK, comma, computer. Human nature doesn't iterate with the advancement of technology. The organic hardware in our head retains the legacy firmware of eons past, while algorithms have already surpassed our ability to signal en masse. But personally, there's nothing like the real thing. And it's true, human nature does not iterate with the advancement of technology. We're still in the jungle on this planet, folks. We are still in the jungle. People think that because we have higher definition TVs and faster processors, and we're carrying around a supercomputer in the palm of our hand, and everybody on the street has one, virtually. Even the homeless people are walking around with at least an iPhone 5 or 6, and they're on plans. There's all this, these kind of, not obviously not in every situation, but there's certainly people. Technology is everywhere. It's all around us. And yet, we have barely evolved. We haven't changed that much over the past 500 years, 1,000 years, 2,000, and even much further back. Cognitively, we haven't changed that much. It doesn't iterate. We still have the same, emotions. We still have anger and fear. We still have our, the fact that we are irrational beings. It goes on and on. So technology has brought us to this place where everything is better understood. We have AI, we have machine learning, we have everything organized, and everything is designed, and everything is, computer systems. If they were to ever go down, society would temporarily collapse for a day. We are very reliant on technology. But in reality, human nature has not changed. Technology has come leaps and bounds, obviously, even in the past 40 years, 50 years, since the invention of the atomic bomb, since Einstein's time. Things have gone really, really far, but people haven't changed. We're the same. We're mostly the same. There's some slight differences, and certain groups might have different characteristics. Things might have trended a certain way. When you remove the need for survivalism, when you remove the threats from the environment, there are certain areas, people that are better off, the first world people, they might be in a different place in terms of, cognitively, they might have different pressures. The evolutionary pressures aren't there because it's like some say we have reached an age of sexual selection. Natural selection, Darwin, natural selection is over, and now we're in an age of sexual selection because the evolutionary pressures aren't there. We're just, we have already, people that are, of course, this is a very privileged way to look at it, because in the first world countries and areas, we don't worry about these things. Obviously, when you're in a third world country, you're in a place that has less money, you're not able to have the luxury to think about the Renaissance, to think about, all these different things, art, as much. You're worrying about just getting by, just surviving. And so, technology has made survival much easier. It's simplified our lives. It's also complicated them quite a bit. It hasn't really simplified them to the degree that it's complicated them, but it has, of course, relieved us of certain things that we had to worry about before. It's made our lives easier. It's simplified the overall course because computers handle this. They handle scheduling. We don't have to think as hard. We don't have to work overtime in our heads to get things done. Computers, you set it, you forget it. So technology is huge. We have advanced so far that it's insane. The organic hardware, though, the organic hardware in our heads, the OK computer, it retains the legacy firmware of eons past. Eons have passed. We have barely changed. Our tools have changed. We have barely changed. And then I say algorithms have already surpassed our ability to signal. So we have systems at play here. We have all these different programs and things out there that allow algorithms to spread information. People don't even have to speak. Things are automated. They're automated. There's been AI out there. There's algorithms. There's people have automated all these systems that we used to need to perform organically, to process organically, and we used to have pen and paper, and now everything is just, well, you have email lists and you have social media and things, just people put in information, but ultimately you get all this content sent straight to your phone, and everything is delivered, and algorithms have surpassed our ability to signal to large groups. Everything has been turned into an automated process. You're able to press a button and send a message to 1,000 people, 100,000, a million people. You press a button, you send it to hundreds of millions of people. It's all become easier, and the algorithms, of course, are programmed and designed to send to certain people at certain times. And of course, that is a problem in itself with the lack of transparency we see in social media. So I am glad that Mark Zuckerberg is talking to, the U.S. government and other organizations and trying to, whether it's lip service or if it's just a narrative or if it's true or not, at least we're looking and seeing that they understand the importance, the fact that these social media companies, these large platforms, or are they publisher platform? I talk about that in a number of my videos as well. You can watch some of those talking about the difference between the publisher and platform. Either way, they're a post-governmental influence. They have more power and influence and control over the narrative than most of the governments in the world. So they can't, when you're looking at freedom of speech, this is kind of a side point, but when you're looking at freedom of speech, people, focus just on the strict definition, saying if the government doesn't get in the way of speech, if the government's not getting in the way, it's a tech company. Free market, private company can do what they want. And I say, well, no. Maybe they can't do what they want. Maybe they should have the freedom. But what is the cost of all this? What are we losing in the process? How much power do we want to actually give these companies? They control so much information flow. We get all of our opinions from the media. And by media, I mean everything. Not just social media, not just TV, not just books or magazines or video games or anything else, music. We don't get our information, we get it from everywhere. And if these companies determine how and when we see what's going on, well, yeah, they have a lot of power and they should be held accountable. They should be held to a transparent standard where we can see what's going on. Now, that's my ideal. I know it's not as realistic, it's not as pragmatic as it could be. But, you got to try, you got to push, you got to make the big ask. So, the organic hardware in our heads retains the legacy firmware of eons past. We haven't changed. It's technology that's changed around us, obviously informed by our decisions because we design it. While algorithms have already surpassed our ability to signal en masse. But personally, there's nothing like the real thing. I like that. At the end of the day, there's no replacing the truth, the real human, the irrational beings we are. There's no replacing human personality with a machine. There just isn't in my book. I mean, people might say, well, eventually machines will learn and algorithms will get really good and AI will get better and you'll be able to look at art and you won't know if a machine designed it or a human. And I can level with that. I can agree with that. Call me agreeable. Say it's a feminine characteristic. That's totally fine because I do have feminine characteristics and masculine ones. But at the end of the day, it's the real human imperfections that draw us back in, that bring us that interest. We can tell. I can tell the difference or I like to believe I can, between something that the computer says, I'd rather have that human touch. It's the different desires contained within, the different motivations that a human has that a machine, even if you coded it, even if a human designed it, couldn't fully comprehend. But then again, who knows? Maybe we will pass through the uncanny valley, get through there, and I will meet a computer that passes the Turing test, and I'll go, okay, maybe humans aren't so unique and organic isn't the way. I could always change my opinion, but I wouldn't count on it.